The Walt Disney World Monorail system, a super iconic form of transportation that takes you all around Walt Disney World. Today, we're going over some of those interesting fun facts that you probably didn't know about the most magical form of transportation at the place where dreams come true. There are 12 different monorails at Walt Disney World, each distinguished by a colored stripe on the side of the car. You've got red, coral, orange, peach, gold, yellow, lime, green, blue, teal, silver, and black. Approximately 50 million guests travel on the Walt Disney World monorail system annually. The original monorail beams at Walt Disney World originally came from Washington State and are composed of concrete and polystyrene core. The monorail uses a very unique commercial-grade truck tire that drives the wheels underneath the monorail system. It actually has a drive with wheels, but you can't really see them unless you're standing underneath. The Walt Disney World monorail system began operation in 1971 and was expanded to include the 4-mile extension to Epcot in 1982. The Mark IV monorails were replaced by the Mark VI monorails, which are currently on the tracks today. Since 1971, the way we board the monorail at the Transportation and Ticket Center is extremely similar, but Epcot has changed quite a bit. The monorail is now a cleared system, meaning that you have to go through security before you board the monorail. This makes things easier for guests going to different resorts and to the Magic Kingdom, but at Epcot things have changed quite a bit. If you haven't been to the monorail system at Epcot in many years, you may notice that the former exit is now the current entrance, and vice versa. The monorail system is so quiet that it can go through the Contemporary Resort in the middle of the night when guests are sleeping just a few feet away and not disturb them, which was the original appeal of the monorail to Walt Disney when considering what form of transportation to use at Magic Kingdom. There are 3 distinct monorail lines: the Express monorail, the Resort monorail, and the Epcot monorail. All 3 of the monorails stop at the Transportation and Ticket Center, or Magic Kingdom parking. On a typical day, more than 150,000 guests utilize the monorail transportation at Walt Disney World. That's nearly 7,000 guests per hour per direction. Each Mark VI monorail is approximately 203 feet long and consists of 6 cars and has an overall height of 10 feet 5 inches and can carry 364 passengers. The train motors put out 904 horsepower and are powered by a 600-volt electrical system. The maximum speed of the monorail at Walt Disney World is 40 miles an hour. You may have noticed the track beam for the monorail looks relatively small, and it is. It's just 26 inches wide. The trains get their power from a very special bus bar underneath the train. You may have noticed it while walking underneath. You can see that bar is actually filled with electricity and is used to power the monorail. The monorail spiel is known far and wide. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. It was originally voice acted by Jack Wagner of General Hospital. Believe it or not, Wolf's wife Lillian played a key role in the development of the Disney monorail. On a trip to Germany in 1952, Walt and Lillian rode an early form of the monorail, one that had carriages suspended beneath the rail. This gave that monorail in Germany a bit of a sway back and forth, and Lillian even wondered out loud, standing next to Walt, why can't they run the cars on top of the track? It was an idea that stayed in Walt's mind, and even today we can see inspiration from Lillian at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. There have been 7 versions of the monorail that have run either at Disneyland or Walt Disney World. At Disneyland, the monorail system began in 1959, and there have been 7 versions of that monorail in California. In December of 1986, the Disneyland monorail system was named a National Historic Mechanical Engineering Landmark. Only 273 landmarks have been named to this prestigious roster, overseen by the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. In recent years, the Mark VI monorails at Walt Disney World have gone through a bit of an update. We've noticed that new seats have been installed, along with some new carpet features and even new colors to accent the colors that they currently have. The monorail system is on a dedicated track, meaning that the monorails can come extremely close to each other and not have to worry about being too close. At Walt Disney World, it's easy to find where you're going on the monorail, especially because two of them only have 2 stops. The Epcot monorail travels between Epcot and the Transportation and Ticket Center. The Express monorail travels between the Transportation and Ticket Center and the Magic Kingdom. The Resort monorail has several stops. It starts at the Transportation and Ticket Center and goes to the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, the Magic Kingdom, the Contemporary Resort, and then back to the Transportation and Ticket Center. Anyone can board the Resort monorail at any stop. There's no need for an extra ticket or fee to get on board. There is no additional cost to use the Walt Disney World monorail. Everyone is welcome to use any line they like. The Walt Disney World monorail system is the second most popular in the world. The most popular is in a city in China called the Chongqing Rail Transit, debuted in 2005 and serves a huge metro population. The original goal of the monorail was to really highlight the majesty of the park and give riders that amazing appreciation and beauty of Disneyland, and eventually that translated to Walt Disney World as well. When the monorail system first started operation, guests had the opportunity to enjoy the views from the front of the monorail. They could actually sit in the car with the pilot of the monorail. Unfortunately, that is no longer allowed due to some safety precautions that Disney did have to take. However, we can still look at the front of the monorail and remember great times. The Walt Disney World monorail pilots, as they are called, are specially trained cast members who know the entire system by heart. They can even tell you where the monorail is by a specific number all around, indicating different beams on the line. It makes this system one of the safest in the world. When you make your way around the Walt Disney World transportation system, you never know what you'll see. Maybe a new boat, perhaps a new trail being made for some construction project that we're still not aware of. The monorails do have air conditioning, which make it super convenient and comfortable as you're making your way from a very hot day at the Magic Kingdom. But in addition to that, they do have windows as well. Now, these are very small windows that no one could fit through, but you can open them up so that you can get some more of that smells of the magic. When the Epcot monorail makes its way back from the Transportation and Ticket Center, it gives you a grand circle tour and introduction to Epcot before you make your way into the park. You actually make your way all the way around the park and have the opportunity to see World Showcase on your left and the construction and Future World on your right. At the end of the day, the Walt Disney World monorails don't just stay on the lines as they end the night, they actually have a special spot to call home. The maintenance line brings the monorails behind the Magic Kingdom to a very special warehouse where they stay overnight. Believe it or not, it's the same warehouse that houses the Walt Disney World steam train at the end of the night as well. At the dedication ceremony for the monorail system at Disneyland, Walt had to improvise. It was June 14, 1959, when then Vice President Richard Nixon and his children Julie and Tricia attempted to formally dedicate the monorail using an oversized wooden scissors. However, the ceremonial ribbon wouldn't be cut by these scissors, so Walt had to rush in and tear that ceremonial ribbon with his hands, and he did, officially dedicating it on that day. Due to its success, 2 years after its maiden voyage at Disneyland, Walt Disney decided to extend the monorail beam so it would be 2.5 miles in length. The original Mark I monorail at Disneyland was expanded from 3 to 4 cars, and an additional train was added, creating a fleet of Mark II vehicles. The Walt Disney World monorail gives you unbelievable views all around Walt Disney World. It's great to look out those windows and see the Magic Kingdom, or perhaps at night see fireworks or an electrical water pageant. You never know what you'll see. At Epcot recently, we've been able to see some of the construction happening for some of the updates coming very, very soon. In recent days, you'll notice there's a tremendous amount of construction throughout Future World as we look forward to the future. For many years, there have been rumors about new monorails coming to Walt Disney World, especially considering the fact that these current Mark VI monorails have been around for 30 years. It's no doubt that at some point we will see new monorails, but exactly when is anyone's best guess. I hope you've enjoyed this trip around the Walt Disney World monorail system with me. It was a pleasure to share it with you and have you on board. If it's your favorite form of transportation at Walt Disney World, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Have a magical day.